As we all know, there are countless seekers seeking some version of permanent peace and joy through meditation, self-realization, or spiritual enlightenment. And there are plenty of teachers, gurus, and paths ready and willing to supposedly fill that gap and supply the method or remedy to this supposed problem. If you still believe that there is such a thing as a separate individual who is capable of making choices and generating effort in order to become worthy of attaining something called enlightenment, you're welcome to take your chances with these ancient, supposedly scripture-backed promises and techniques. Your odds aren't good. First, as long as there is a person who wants something, there can be no enlightenment. Personal enlightenment is an oxymoron. Enlightenment is never an event that happens to a person in time. Yet all sorts of people practice diligently as if enlightenment will eventually come to them sometime in the future. But enlightenment means there is no separate self, only the one self or being. So, obviously, there is no one and nothing to attain. Countless millions of sadhus and monks have practiced endless hours of meditation, pranayamas, kundalini raising, and scriptural study, often full-time in residence at an ashram, seated directly at the feet of some master. The percentage who have apparently seen through the illusion and fully dissolved the false identity back into the non-identity of pure awareness is less than 1/10,000th of 1%. And if that did appear to occur to some illusory separate location, you can be sure it did so in spite of the guru or practices, not because of them. So perhaps the question here is, what would actually work better? Being a seeker on a path to enlightenment, which, as clarified, is nearly unreachable for the full-time monk and totally impossible for the householder with a family and a job. Or simply being with what is, every moment, right now and forever, entering the flow of what is, which is much, much easier, ridiculously natural actually, because you are already what is, already in the flow of what is. What is already what is. Simply put, if everything is okay just as it is, you're already there, fully at the permanent peace and joy you seek in enlightenment. But it must be all-encompassing. Everything is okay just as it is. Even if you lose all your money, lose your home, lose your child, spouse, or lover, lose your mind. Even if your doctor tells you that you yourself are soon to lose your life due to a previously undetected terminal disease. It appears that we all eventually go through most of all of these. Certainly we all drop the body and mind at some point and take nothing with us, not even our personal enlightenment. That's what is. If you're just 100% okay with all of it, you are in the flow. You are the flow. And you're free, fully liberated. How could there be anything but peace and imperturbability? Now, likely, right here, you'll come back with two retorts, two yeah buts. First, you'll say, okay, but how do I let go and just be 100% okay with all of it? And I just can't let go. When these things happen, my gut reaction is just too quick, inborn, irrepressible. Conveniently, the answer to both is the same. First, there is no how, because you, the true you, are already what is. How could there be a how to become what already is? Even the question, how to let go, indicates you are not simply being with what is, but looking for a change or improvement in what is. Still rebelling against what is and hoping if you find the right how, you can change it into what isn't. So even the asking of how, you're actually still resisting what is and stepping away from the answer. And if you say, but I just can't let go, then fine. That's just what is. Simply be okay with that what is, the what is of I can't let go. And if in your apparent not let go state you experience great pain, fear, frustration, or sorrow, be totally okay with that, because right now, that's what is. This immediately bestows an immeasurable sense of isness, peace, and freedom, even in the midst of the pain, fear, and sorrow. It seems indeed miraculous. Someone will ask, yeah, but is this the true non-dual enlightenment? The same stable, permanent peace promised to seekers by gurus and paths? That moksha or liberation that is sustained and experienced constantly, so you don't have to let go into what is over and over again, moment by moment. But, as clarified, there is no you, no personal enlightenment, and no time. All just illusions. You have never owned or controlled a personal life in time. Full enlightenment means no time exists. We all agree there's no such thing as past and future. Neither of them exist now. But does even now exist? What is the duration of now? Does it have any duration? If there is no duration, where is the time for you to exist, let alone the time for you to achieve enlightenment and then stay there stably through all time? And even if there was time and you found a way to remain in this everything is okay state without interruption, just dwelling constantly in full enlightenment, how long would that last? Only until this body-mind dies. So it's still a temporary possession the illusory you wants for itself. We all know where that leads. In this timeless, moment-by-moment dream, wanting something permanent for the ever-changing, ever-dying ego person, some permanent enlightenment to end suffering, is the exact opposite of what is, of simply being with what is. So it guarantees additional suffering. One seeker flew from England to California to beseech Krishnamurti for the truth. He said, "Dear Krishnamurti, I have never understood the core of your teachings for a life of peace and enlightenment. Observer is the observed, choiceless awareness, etc. I have flown halfway around the world to ask you directly, in one sentence, can you please tell me the secret to your constant experience of peace and freedom?" Krishnamurti smiled and replied, "Simple. I don't mind what happens." So, you can choose, or appear to choose, the long, drawn-out, almost never successful work of seeking and practicing, and practicing, and practicing for enlightenment, or just be with what is right now and forever. Enter the flow of what is and never resist or rebel against it again. Allow all of it. Recently, my friend Satya from Texas demanded, with more than a little incredulousness and outrage, if it's that simple, the instant full liberation of just allowing what is, why all these scriptures, paths, and gurus from the millennia promising enlightenment, but only after decades of arduous striving with the practices, this practice or that technique? Why didn't anyone before you, Teja, step forward and declare how simple it is? I replied, they did, but no one listened. Just being with what is didn't seem to give these illusory doers anything to do, anything to practice, to make progress towards their dream of non-suffering and permanent bliss. Anything noble, a noble path, was missing. As so many awakened ones have confirmed, it is that simple, so simple, too simple. It's right in front of us, so we miss it. There's that great couplet from Pete Townshend's rock song, "I'm Free." I told you what it takes to reach the highest high. You'd laugh and say nothing's that simple. But you've been told many times before, messiahs pointed to the door. No one had the guts to leave the temple. So no one listened. They just said, oh, that doesn't give me anything to do, to grasp onto, to give me hope for eventually changing my oppressive what is into some better, more blissful what isn't. So I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to go back to Sri Sri Sadguru Baduru or Lama Bodhidharma or the Vedas and the Gitas or Swami Byandananda and listen to them. At least they gave me, the illusory me, something I could do that promised eventual enlightenment. And off they went, and off they still go. This kind of path and practice, enlightenment teaching, ancient and revered as it may be, is rooted in deep ignorance about the nature of being and liberation. And it continually reinforces and perpetuates the idea of seeking and becoming. So, you can choose that. Or you can just choose to be with what is. There is only this. No more seeking. No more becoming. Just freedom. Just complete liberation. Right now. Thanks for listening. Let's talk again soon.